Mr. Chairman, I want to thank you for your cooperation and leadership on these 11 measures. As you know, our committee has its greatest impact when we operate on a bipartisan basis, as we are doing so today. Let me start by thanking the chairman for working with me on the Leveraging Information on Foreign Traffickers, or LIFT Act, which continues this committee's 20-year tradition of bipartisan work to combat the scourge of human trafficking, which affects greatly our nation and my home state of Texas. U.S. law currently requires the State Department to deny U.S. visas to human traffickers. But when the department denies visas to traffickers, it does not tell its own anti-trafficking officials where and how often those denials occur. This bill ensures that appropriate State Department officials leading the fight receive this important information on a timely basis. Modern slavery affects millions around the world, but it is not just a problem in the developing world. It is happening right now in our backyards, in our neighborhoods. A month ago, I was proud to stand with my inspiring constituent, Courtney Litvak, at the White House Human Trafficking Summit. We need to keep the voices of survivors at the center of the policy conversation. And for that reason, this bill also reauthorizes the survivor-led U.S. Advisory Council on Human Trafficking through 2025. My amendment also makes sure that survivors who otherwise couldn't afford to take time off from work are able to serve on this council, such as Courtney Litvak. Mr. Chairman, I ask unanimous consent also to place into the record a letter of support for the LIFT Act from the U.S. Conference of Catholic Bishops.
Without objection, so ordered.
Thank you. And I want to thank you again for joining me on this important bill. I hope we can move it quickly to the floor. As we face the growing challenges of the novel coronavirus, I also want to commend Mr. Connolly and Mr. Shabbat for their Global Health Security Act. This bill will help ensure that our interagency and international efforts to address global health emergencies are as coordinated and efficient as possible. And I also want to thank Mr. Wilson for his Ukraine Religious Freedom Support Act. When deciding whether to designate Russia as a country of particular concern for religious freedom violations, U.S. officials must also consider Russia's persecution of religious groups inside those areas of Ukraine that it occupies or controls. And finally, I also support the No Passport Fees for Heroes Families Act. In cases where our service members are severely wounded abroad, this bill waives passport fees for family members traveling to assist in their recovery. So I'm very glad, Mr. Chairman, once again, we worked on both sides of the aisle to get this work done. I hope the remainder of this Congress will be as cooperative as the first markup of this year. And with that, I yield back.